A user persona is a fictional character that you create for the purpose of your product. Think of it like you are trying to create a movie that has a basis in a true life story. So you create a character that doesn't exist, but that character is based on true life characters, people that you have talked to, your subject in your user research, right? So it's like giving the person a name, say Sarah, and giving the person age 25, occupation, maybe they're domestic worker, but they're currently unemployed or something like that. So your user persona is like that fictional character, that person that you're defining for the purpose of your product. So that you can come back to that person later. Like anytime you are stuck, you can come back to that person and say, okay, what would Sarah want? What would Taiwo want? Now, why do we need user personas in our design thinking process? They serve as the basis of who you are trying to build for. You can always come back to them and say, okay, I'm building for so and so, and this is why I'm building for them. You can come back and look at their goals, their motivations, what their challenges are, so that you don't deviate from that particular person that you're building for. In drafting a user persona, you need to take a look at the people that you have spoken to during your user research process. You can pick, if you have like 3 people who are job seekers, you can bring something that you talk to person A about. You can bring a part of their character into that user persona. You can also bring something from person B. You can also bring something from person C. Let me give you a small scenario. If I spoke to Sarah, and Sarah told me that she's a 25-year-old single person and she's currently unemployed and she currently lives in the city of Lagos. And I spoke to person B, and person B is maybe 35 years old, and person is married with kids. Person is also looking for menial jobs and needs to provide for our family. And I spoke to person C, and person C is a 25-year-old male, and he is also looking for a menial job. He lives in Benin City, and that's 3 different people, but you are basically targeting the same thing. You're trying to build a product around them. So you can bring them together. You can come up with your own fictional character. Say you can use Sarah's name, for example, or you can come up with an entirely different name. Say, okay, this person is 35, this person is married with kids. So you can pick something from Sarah, you can pick something from Taiwo, you can pick something from Success, and bring them together to form the basis of your user character. Now let's take a look at a fictional character that I've created for a job seeker for our case study. Her name is Lola, and currently, for our user information, she's age 35. She has SSC, like basically she just did secondary school. Our occupation is that she's unemployed currently, and she was previously a waitress and cleaning lady. She's currently married with 2 kids, and she lives in Lagos, Nigeria. I have a picture of her here, so as you can see, like, African woman smiling and, living her best life. Our user bio is basically more information about her, like a small story to give you like more background information about her. Lola has recently moved to a new state. She used to live in Osun State with her husband and 2 children. She worked as a waitress in a restaurant back in her hometown, but struggles to find similar work in Lagos. She has been unemployed for the past 3 months and is feeling increasingly anxious about her financial situation. That basically gives you an insight to the kind of user you're trying to build a product for. This story doesn't necessarily have to be true. You bring different information from different people and put them together to come up with a user bio. Our hobbies include painting and cooking and playing with our kids. Basic information about Lola, fictional character, but it gives you an idea. It makes you picture a person that you're trying to build for in mind. What's Lola's goal? She's trying to find a job that pays her enough to cover her basic expenses. She's trying to secure a job that is flexible. And she's trying to find a job where she can use her previous experiences as a waitress and a cleaning lady. Her challenge is basically she has limited knowledge of job opportunities in her area. She doesn't have experience, and because of her limited education, she can't find jobs. She doesn't have local connection because, of course, she just moved here, so she doesn't know a lot of people around. And she's finding it difficult to find jobs that like it's flexible for her to take care of her children. What does she currently do? What are her behaviors? She goes to offices in the area to inquire about jobs. She feels discouraged and frustrated with the job search process, and she has tried looking for jobs online, but she has only found jobs that require professional services. What are her values? She loves family and she provides for their needs. She's hardworking and determined, and she's always looking for opportunity for growth and advancement. Now, this tells you a story of a particular person. You can picture that person in your head, like, oh, Lola is a job seeker that is this age, she has this education background and all of that. You have that idea. Like whenever if you give someone like, oh, this is my user person, this type of person I'm looking for, you can picture that person in your mind basically. And that's a really good thing because you can always come back to that. You can always come back to that person and say, okay, what does this person want? Whenever you're doing your design process, what does this person want? You can come back and you can still picture that in your head. So how do we go about creating the user persona? You pick a name for that person. Your character has to have a name, their age, their job title, and other demographic information. It should also include their goals, their challenges, the values they currently have, their hobbies, because it humanizes them. It makes you understand what their frustrations are. It's also very good when you give them a personality. Like, are they quirky? Are they funny? Do they like playing with their kids? It makes them very relatable. But don't forget, this character is entirely fictional, but it is based on real characters, based on the people that you've actually spoken to. So guys, it's now time for you to draft your own persona based on the problem you're trying to solve. I'm going to attach mine to the next quiz so that you can use it as a template to draft yours. I'd like to see what